G'day guys, it's Khalid from Ali Estate Agents and welcome back to today's video. Today I want to talk to you guys about the a guide to selling your home. It's quite a simple request that a lot of people do ask me, and they basically say, look Khalid, what's the steps that I need to follow, or what do I need to do to obviously selling my home? So there's a couple of steps. I'm going to get really basic here, guys. So for some of you, this might be something that you've heard or know of before. First of all, is where do you start if you want to sell your home? So what do you do? You obviously do some research for starters. Go around the area that you live in at the moment and just have a walk around, see what's in the market. Jump on realestate.com and some of these other websites, real estate websites that have properties for sale in your area, and research in the sold section. So don't go on what's for sale, because there could be prices that could be throwing you off a bit. Somewhere someone's really just trying to test the market and go on at a higher price. Then there's other ones that are really on the bottom end of it because of the different conditions and so forth. So just see where the results are on the sold section. And a lot of the sold prices are listed by most agencies and agents, and you'll find that you will see a consistent trend through the sold section of the realestate.com or any other real estate website that you may have. Once you've done some research, you'll know obviously you can gauge your home between where it would sit with price point based on how big the block is, bedrooms, bathrooms, car accommodation. Very simple couple of 4-step there process to analyze where you'll sit in the price range of homes that are sold. The next thing is working out where to from here. So where you are right now, where are you looking at moving to from, in essence, from the property that or the location that you're in to the next suburb, or the same suburb, but where do you want to move to? Is it on the other side of the highway? Is it closer to a school for the kids, or is it at a location where it's more convenient for work? Whatever that may be. So then start researching where you're going to. The reason why I say this before you do anything else is you start to create a picture about where your next phase of your journey is going to be. And in those areas, you can analyze and think, okay, for X amount of money that I get from here, hoping to get, and always use your worst case scenarios with your hope to get, I'm going to be able to get into property like this. And I want to be able to get into a property such as this. The next step would be to speak to a finance broker, or the bank manager, lending manager, whatever you want to call it. Any person or persons like that obviously be able to assist in the finance if you need, obviously, to finance the next home that you're moving into. Obviously, if you've paid off your home and you're using the cash to move on to the next one, then that's fantastic, and you're very lucky to be in that position. But there's obviously a lot of people out there that need finance, so best to speak to the banks, because the bank's criteria is what you might have got a pre-approval 6 months or 12 months ago has changed a lot now. So it's very important to get a solid pre-approval, not just a couple of clicks and a printout, and then moving forward towards your goal of achieving that price. So then the next step is obviously understanding the right time to sell. A lot of people do tell me, they go, Khalid, when's the best time to sell? My simple answer for that is whenever you find the property, whenever it's right for you. It's not about the market, because you could probably wait till September, for example. We're in obviously in May now, and get to September and the market's done something different, and you're just banking on the market to do something totally the opposite of what might be doing, or the market does increase and change in value, and the property that you're purchasing or hoping to purchase, or in the area that you're purchasing, has the same adverse reaction, and ultimately has the outcome that you are in the position of right now. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that the right time to sell is the right time for you, and not based on what the market is doing, the election's doing, or anything else like that. The next thing to obviously understand is the different ways to sell your home. There's obviously an auction, private treaty, so private sale, you on the market for sale, you go on the internet. And then there's this new way of becoming the norm, or the social norm of advertising, is the expression of interest. The expression of interest, I've found in my experience, is that it encourages a lot of buyers to come in at different levels to entertain, obviously, an offer at a certain range. But the biggest thing is that about expression of interest, it's still got that 10% quote range in the statement of information. And essentially, you are pretty much not putting a price on the property and expressing people, inviting people to come in and make offers, and providing that they're obviously within the range that you've got in the statement of information. Now, these are the three ways that you can essentially, there's the common ways to sell a home in today's market. An auction campaign essentially is a campaign that obviously creates a lot of hype on the property, runs typically between 3 and 4 weeks, and then goes under the hammer and gets a private, private sale outcome in a different scale. So basically, the auction outcome is unconditional as opposed to private sale, where there is subject to finance and building inspections and other conditions put in place, sometimes even subject to a sale of another home. And then there's obviously none of that in an auction campaign as a result. And the expression of interest is exactly the same thing with the private sale treaty, and that is basically with the opportunity for the buyers to stipulate some terms and put in some conditions in the contract. So essentially, auction is very providing you get a result on the day, obviously, and there is active bidders, and the campaign's been set up really well for the marketing of the property leading up until that auction day. You can get quite a good result that it'll be unconditional. You get the 10% deposit or 5% deposit, depending on what your agent negotiates with the potential buyer. And the property is sold on the day. You don't have to wait for any conditions to be met or expired. The next thing is what to do real estate. The biggest thing is obviously it's a big hype out there. Purplebricks has left our market. They were the so-called disruptor that was coming in and it's going to disrupt the real estate agents and whatnot. Essentially, they obviously were pushed out of the Australian market. I understand they were doing okay in the UK, as far as I remember. I'm not sure how they're doing right now, but in essence, they've left the industry, and the reason being that they couldn't survive in the Australian market was probably predominantly the style or the new way of introducing to the real estate market or the vendors about how to sell their home, or a new way of obviously a concept to put their property on the market. Essentially, real estate agents do a lot in terms of getting you the result, the end result. So they are there to take buyers through, screen them, go through information about what they can and cannot do, so they're not coming in your property and they're just looking around and not really ready to purchase yet. They haven't been researched up well. They haven't been prepared well prior to coming to your property. So they do a lot of those things. On top of that, the negotiation process. A good real estate agent would be able to hold where the value of your home is based on what they've discussed with you, what they've shown you comparables on, based on what's on the statement of information. Now, essentially, at the end of the day, the outcome is based on a whole range of things where the estate agent would be working towards getting you an outcome. A couple of those things are based on where the market's sitting at, the value of what you've been going to the market with, where the buyers are sitting at, and what they're prepared to pay, and how to extract the maximum outcome for the vendors. Naturally, with buyers as well, when they're dealing with an estate agent, they've got the confidence there that they're dealing with someone that's actually human sitting in front of them. They are able to discuss any concerns that they may have, any questions that they may have, and also be able to understand the process a lot better, instead of just being told to put an offer in a piece of paper and work out the rest of it yourself. So the agent not only stops at the point of getting the negotiation, but they go to the next stage, and that is basically to be able to liaise with the broker, go through the conveyancing, and all the way through to settlement, getting everything together to make sure it goes through nice and smoothly without any hiccups or issues. Now, preparing your property, I've gone through this video before. Looking at your property with a fresh set of eyes, maybe even get a friend to come over, help you out, go through it and nitpick on your property. What some buyers would look at and go, oh, that's a bit of a turn off. You've got that pink door at the front, maybe paint that a neutral colour. The gutters are overflowing, whatever it may be. Inside and outside, prepare the home so the best possible way that you can to present it to the marketplace. And again, understanding what demographic you're going for. If you're already at a point where you know you're going to the market with a property that needs to be a doer-upper, it's a tear down, whatever it is, then I'm not sitting here and telling you that, hey, listen, you need to make it all glamorous and so forth. I'm telling you about properties that can need a little bit of touch up and will make such a vast difference towards the end result of your home. Now, in saying that, I always say never to overspend on a property. If you're at a point where you go, look, I'm going to put a brand new kitchen and bathroom in this property, and I'm going to spend $30,000 and expect $60,000 back. Essentially, that's not the case, especially in the market climate that we're in at the moment, being very stable. So that's preparing your home to sell. What happens after selling a home? So once you've sold the home, essentially you've got somewhere to go, whether it's renting or you've purchased elsewhere or you're moving in with friends or family, whatever it is. At the end, when the property settles, what happens is normally from the agency that you enlisted your property with to create the sale and have a successful outcome, they would have a deposit that will be held in trust. And sometimes they can take 24 to 48 hours, clear business days, to come into your account, that portion of it after the agent fees are taken out and marketing, of course. Now, in terms of the balance, normally that transacts pretty much on the same day. Most conveyancers or solicitors use a system called PEXA. It's an online electronic system. The banks are all plugged into it. The conveyancers are, settlements and everything else pretty much action pretty much in coordinated together to get an outcome pretty quickly, and it saves a lot of people paperwork and running around in creating settlements and transferring titles and whatnot. So a lot of that happens in the background. As an owner or as a purchaser, you're not involved in that. But once that's done and the property is settled, you are obviously free to move on. So now a lot of people organise to purchase a property and have their settlement on the same day. That can happen. Just everyone needs to be communicated with very clearly and understanding where the timeline process lies. So, for example, your agent needs to know, okay, I'm settling on this house at 12 o'clock, but I'm not settling on my new home that I've purchased with the other real estate agency till 1 o'clock. Now, is it possible either for the property at 1 o'clock to get the keys early so you can get your stuff in there, or the property at 12 o'clock to advise them that you need an extra hour to two after settlement to make sure that everything's out of there and all packed and finished and ready to go into the new home. So this is something that you need to communicate clearly. Also, the conveyancers all need to know what's going on with the new purchase and the sale, about the timelines and how vital it is for those settlements to happen on time. And of course, the broker needs to be, or the bank person that's organising your funding needs to understand where the money is going and where it's coming from in the timeline process. So the communication is key all the way through with your agent with you, with your broker, with your conveyancer, and naturally with your real estate agents that is involved in the sale and purchase of the new home. Guys, I hope that is a help. I wanted to try and keep it as basic. We have gone to nearly 15 minutes of time, so I wanted to try and keep it short, but essentially there is a little bit involved in this, and you do need to make sure that you are prepared when you go to sale, and there's a lot of communication. That's the key here. Thanks guys for watching. Any questions or anything that you would like to know further, please give me a call on the mobile 0422 406 745. Drop me a line on this Facebook page, and I can assist you further. Thanks guys, take care, have a great day, bye.